for joining me today again. I know that it's been quite a wild west, I can tell, in the recent few years with groups. So I'm very happy that we're putting this policy in place because it was much needed. So what is the group policy, basically? Let's chime in. First of all, before starting a group, please make sure of this three component. Complete the group travel specialist training on the LMS. Please go ahead and do that training. And more than the training on the LMS, go to the group sales tab. We have a lot of training over there, a lot of training that I will add along the way. Also, my bi-weekly, at least I'm trying to do bi-weekly Zoom calls with our suppliers. They're all recorded. So if you have a supplier that you want to specialize, you want to get more experience with, there is a video recording of about an hour talking only about groups and the group policy of that specific vendor. It is also land and it also cruise. Although this policy is meant only for cruises, not for land. Contact the group department for supplier you intend to sell and discuss your situation, meaning that any group that you need to block, you do not need to contact me or anybody at OA. You can reach out straight up to the supplier and set up your group. If you have general questions before or during the process that you want to learn more on how to do it, which itineraries to book, or any advice or idea, I'm here. You can schedule a mentoring call with me and I'll guide you through it. But everything that you're doing with the suppliers. And as I mentioned, you can contact me at Elon at OutsideAgents.com if you have any questions or concerns. All right, that's the big thing. Basically, what was till now that when I said Wild West, is that you could have blocked hundreds of groups without, no obligation, nothing. And today we're changing it. Basically, we're allowing maximum of 25 groups per 12-month period, per supplier, per agency. Okay, there's a lot of pairs. So 25s per year, per calendar year, per supplier, per agency. So if you have sub-agents, it doesn't say that you can book, if you have two sub-agents, it doesn't say that you can book 75 groups. No, it means that you can book only 25 groups per supplier in a calendar year. That was meant for us to have a fair play, meaning that all of you will be able to enjoy blocking group space, because what happened till now is that most of the time you reach out to the suppliers and they told you, well, you maxed your group for the month. There is no more group space. And I don't want that to happen. I want each one of you to have a group business, a healthy one. And I think that 25 per supplier per year is great. More than that, we encountered a lot of agents that are booking more than one group on specific sailings. So since Friday, September 29th, that stops, meaning that you're allowed to book only one group per sailing. Now, there is a specific supplier, and I'll mention it's Royal Caribbean, that basically you can block group space up to 16 cabin without putting a deposit. Therefore, from the 17 or 18, agents would block another group space, right? That only makes sense. They will have another group space without putting any deposit. Well, I can tell you that we'll talk about it in a minute, but my recommendation is always to put down a deposit to secure your rate, to secure your inventory. The cruise line will look at you differently, that you're committed to them. And what we found out, and it's very interesting, especially with Royal Caribbean, for example, we have about 4,000 groups open with them. But can you imagine that we have only materialization rate of 10%? That's because we're blocking a lot of group space. Some of us even forget that they have that group because we didn't commit to it. We didn't put in a deposit. If a client called us, that's fine. We have that group. But if not, well, it doesn't work like that, because then the vendor, the supplier, is coming to us and saying, well, we're going to limit your group space because you're not really materializing those group. So this rule here, or two rules, came to prevent that to happen, but also to put things in order. 25 groups per supplier and 1 per selling. And in order for us to enforce the fact that you are actively working on your groups, basically the group will become available to all outside agents, travel advisors, unless two things will happen. 60, if there is no activity within a group 60 days after the creation date, we will take that group and open it up and make it an headquarter group and open it up for outside agents, other agents, to book into that group. What does it mean, activity? It can be deposit, because if you put a deposit down, it will be your group exclusively. Nobody will reach out to you. Nobody will be able to book into your group. Nobody will be able to take your group. You're committed. And that's one. The second thing, if you don't have the capital, the money to put down as a deposit, and it's understandable, we're asking you to promote that group from day one that you basically created that group. So during this 60 days, if I reach out to you and say, hey, I'm thinking about allocating this group and making it an outside agent headquarter group, you'll have to prove to me by a screenshot or any other form that you will prove to me that you marketed. And we'll talk about it in a second. What is marketing? What the meaning of marketing? Another thing, if there is no activity within a group 6 months prior to final payment date, and I'll mention the exact final payment date usually is 120 days before sailing. So we're talking about 6 months prior to that, prior to final payment. So we're talking about 10 months before sailing, that we will need to see activity within the booking. There are a lot of groups that there are no bookings within 10 months of sailing. In that case, we will take that group and we will convert it to a headquarter group, and we'll open it up broadly to everybody else to enjoy the great rate and the inventory that is out there. Again, I will not take any group from you before discussing it with you. I will give you a call. We'll talk about it, because maybe the group is empty with no names, but you have the list of names already and you're waiting on 1 or 2 more things, and it's different than what I see in the group. So I'll discuss it with you for sure. But the reason we're doing that is because we want to see materialization. That's good for everybody. If we're going to open it up for you guys because some agents forgot about this group, and you're going to enjoy the rate and enjoy the inventory, it's a win-win for everybody. So that's what we want to make it. So remember, 60 days prior to 60 days from creating date of the group, you have to promote it and show me a proof. And 6 months prior to final payments, meaning 10 months prior to sailing, we have to see activity that you are actively promoting, that you're actively booking into that group. Group level deposit. So not a lot of you aware, but many of you are aware of the fact that you need to put a group level deposit on most of the cruise lines. Some of them are asking after 60 days, some of them are after 30 days, and some of them are not asking at all. But it is recommended to put a group level deposit. The reason is basically that you're securing the rate, securing the inventory. Most likely when you put that deposit, the cruise line won't come to you and ask to allocate those cabins or take back the cabins because they have another demand on that specific sailing. And mostly important is that you can keep the group exclusively. We will not touch those groups. We will not ask you from any promotion to assure that you're promoting that group, any evidence. So I know that I advised when I was with Norwegian Cruise Line, I had my famous Zoom calls. I always advise to you guys, have a budget. Have a budget of $500, apply it towards a group level deposits. Remember, those are refundable deposits. They goes back to you once you fill the group. So once this money comes back to you, roll it to the next group. That's how you need to work on your business. Have a budget for groups, apply it. When it comes back, roll it to the next group. A group level deposit involves an advisor using their personal agency funds to secure specific pricing and categories. Yes, the question that I've been asked frequently is, what is a group level deposit? Who's paying that? You, the agent. That is the only case when you're allowed to use your credit cards, your business money, in order to pay for something with the cruise line. It's just a group level deposit that you're putting out of your pocket in order to show commitment to secure the group. But again, as I said, it's refundable. It goes back to you. Again, and I'll say it, it's very important to verify the terms with each cruise line. Each one of them is working differently, but all the group level deposits are refundable with the cruise line. So to determine that, reach out to them. The advisors and not outside agents is responsible for maintaining accurate records of deposits made to all the group space. You need to have your own track on what you paid, on which cabins. If you fill that group, demand the cruise line to bring you that group level deposit back. But there is nothing that we need to take care. It's you taking care of it with the cruise line. Marketing efforts. So I mentioned two components. One is if you put deposit, you're good to go. The other one, if you don't want to put deposit, then marketing efforts. Groups that are actively being marketed will allow the advisor to keep the group exclusively. So it's the same as you put a deposit down. If you're marketing it from day one, it's exclusively yours. Nobody will touch that group. Active marketing is considered a conversation or advertising to promote the group through social media, emails, or traditional mail. Now, when we're saying conversation, you can have a Zoom call with some agent and form a cruise night or something like that. That's considered for me as marketing. So want you to remember that any form of social media that you're promoting is enough evidence for me, and you will be required to show proof of the marketing efforts in the term of screenshots or samples of the emails that you put together and sent or anything like that. I can tell you that Friday I put this policy in place and I got tons of emails with screenshots of groups that actively been promoted. So I'm happy to see that it's happening and people are promoting. But from the other end, I also received emails from agents that put deposit. They called Friday, they already put deposit on the group in order to secure that. For me, that says a lot. And I think that you're good listeners. So just do one of the two. I give you two options. They're pretty good ones. Respect to other advisors. So that is something that I think that everyone or each one of you got affected in a way about this, and we're putting it in order and putting it in place. And I'll say it loud. Booking into another advisor private group is not permitted. I'll repeat it again. Booking into another advisor's private group is not permitted. Okay? So if you see out there groups online that are outside agent group and they're named outside agents, remember the fact that we as outside agents headquarter do not hold any group space. It is all belongs to other agents who worked hard to secure their group, to promote their group, to put down deposits. And once you're booking into their group, basically you're taking from their business. You're pulling money out of their pockets. And none of us wants that. There is one thing that you can do is ask for approval from the advisors holding the group space. And to request an approval, please send me an email, again, at Elon@OutsideAgents.com. Send me an email, send me the group number, tell me with each cruise line, and also tell me which cabins are needed, how many cabins are needed, and I'll reach out to the agent that is actively working on his group and ask their permission. I can tell you that 90% of the time, the answer will be yes. The reason is that we are the only host agency, and I can say that because I worked with 99% of the host agencies out there. The only agency that agents are all for each other, working for each other, working with each other, contributing from the knowledge, but also if it's possible, they will allow you to book into their group as long as you're asking their permission. Group, what happens if you're not going to listen and you're still going to book into a group? Well, that's what will happen. Basically, group without approval will result in the forfeit of the commission for that booking. Meaning that if you're taking Debbie's group and you book in the group space into Debbie's group, guess what? The commission will stay with Debbie. Okay? You made that mistake. It's because you didn't listen. You didn't do the training. You didn't read the policy. So we're putting it out there loud and saying, we'll take that booking from you. It will stay in the group, but a commission will go to the booking agent, the original booking agent of the group. But what if Debbie's got clients and she doesn't want you to book into her group? It will be her decision if to keep that booking into her group, or we will take that reservation out of the group, and it will be on your responsibility to advise your clients on the new rate that they will get, and it won't be the group rate. It will be at the prevailing rate of the same day that we took that booking outside of the group. So remember that. It will be on your responsibility to tell your clients and work with them. And I can tell you, I had a case about 2 months ago. It was $2,000 more expensive than what the group was. And the client was, of course he was mad, but it was the agent responsibility to understand that you're not booking into other agent group. We resulted by the fact that the original agent agreed for the agent to book into a group, to leave the booking inside a group. But don't get us into this scenario again, because I'm going to be a bad sheriff here. I love all of you, but I want you to play it fair. Okay? And I want you to respect each other. And as I said, advisor responsible for unauthorized booking must inform their client any rate adjustment and additional costs. And I don't want to tell you how this conversation is going to go. Not so well. So think twice before you booking into somebody else's group. Reach out to me, ask the permission, and we'll take it from there. Additional details about the policy. Reviews will be conducted to ensure compliance and optimize group management. I will be monitoring that through reports that the cruise line are going to submit to me. I will know the creation date and I'll work through that. Very important, fully deposited booking within a group with individual booking numbers must be entered into the CRM system within 72 hours of receiving the deposit. So if you have the deposit, you already placed it with the cruise line, you want to get paid your commission, right? So put your reservations, and not as a whole sum, because we don't know how to read that. And usually the cruise lines are paying per reservation. Please put it as individual reservation. Each number of reservation in the CRM system with the commission part, and 72 hours, within 72 hours of creation. That's what we want you to do. Another thing that we encounter is, especially with Royal Caribbean and Celebrity, is that when you're creating a group online, the booking engine takes only your first name, not your last name. Now, as I mentioned on Friday, if I see Christopher and I'll go to the CRM system for looks for Christopher, I will find 1,000 Christophers. And I wouldn't know who this group belongs to, so I don't know who to ask if they give the permission to book into their group. So if you can please go ahead backwards to your group that you blocked with Royal and Celebrity, and on the group name, just add somewhere your last name. That's super important. That will help us to help you guys monitor who is holding that group space. So again, just go to the system, add to your group name, your last name, then it will help me. I will see the last name and I will see the first name that the system is taking. And that would really, really help all of us. Advisors, and that's very important, advisors are prohibited from receiving payments directly from clients. Payments must be proceed through the supplier's group department using the client's form of payment. According to the law, none of you are allowed to take money from client and then use your own credit cards in order to pay for that specific booking. You can take the credit card from the client, not your personal credit card, and pay with the client and call the cruise line and pay with the client's credit card. But no taking money from clients is allowed to your business, and nor paying with your own credit card for clients' reservations. As I mentioned, only by putting group level deposits, you can put your own credit cards, because that's money that goes back to you. You're securing the group. That's your business. That's fine. But remember that fact. Never use your own credit card to pay for clients and get the money from them. And I think I need to mention that because it happens. Occasionally that happens. I get that question. And I'm like, no, you can't. I'm referring them to the law that we can't do that. So just remember that. And that's it. I mean, it's pretty simple. It's basically made for us to, I'll stop sharing, to put things in order, to put things in place. And I'm happy that we're able to do that with the help of Deborah and with the help of the team. But let's open the floor for questions.
All right, so we didn't have as many as we had the last time. I mean,
Oh
these
my
guys are on top
God.
of things.
That
I
was
am
very, yeah.
impressed. Yeah, or does it mean you just did better this time? I don't know. So, first of all, we got the same one we kind of did the last time. How are they going to know if it's an HQ group? And I've been answering that we're still working on that. Or has anything materialized? Have you gotten very far with that yet?
Not yet. So I'm gonna let you know once I'm gonna finalize that, where are we gonna put the headquarter group that we're gonna take from agents that are not working according to the policy. We're thinking about several avenues. I'm not sure yet, but I'm gonna be more accurate the midweek. We're already at midweek, but we have the conference. I'll meet with Steve and basically work on it. But I'm gonna let you know soon. And remember, it will take me 60 days to start allocating those groups, because I'm not going backwards. I'm starting from Friday, and for
Right.
me, that's where I'm going forward. So just for
Okay,
you to
so
know, I'll share it with you.
Yeah, and so just so that kind of answers some questions too. So for anybody that was concerned about groups you already have, like he said, he's starting Friday and moving forward. So if you have groups that you created 6 months ago or a year ago, are you touching those at this point or just letting them
All
do their
right,
thing?
so I'll tell you, if I see that there is an agent holding 200 groups and the
Mhm,
materialization rate is very low, I will have conversation with them and say, you have to concentrate on 25. The rest I'm opening up for our agents and
mhm.
taking it over. So it
All right.
very
And
well depends on agent what they're doing with their groups. If there is justification of holding this such amount of groups. But everything is up to discussion. Nothing that I'm going to
mhm.
do without discussing.
Right. And then if you can also address Princess and Holland America as far as those groups, we got a lot of those questions too.
Yeah, so Princess works with mysterious ways. When you book as an FIT, they move it into a group. And basically the agent, it's count towards their TCs. But that's the way they're working. Um, I'm aware that there are several agents that are holding tons amount of groups, especially for specific destinations. So I will have a conversation with him and I'll foresee that if the materialization rate, meaning not an FIT moved into a group, but their own clients are booked in that group, they'll be able to hold some of their groups. But definitely, if some of you are holding more than 25 groups, I'll be looking into it. And if I'll see that there's no reason of holding, I saw an email today of somebody who's holding to Alaska, 5 groups on the same sailing. So for sure, I'm going to reach out and I'm going to take 4 of them because that's not fair play. Not all, and some of you wants now to block group space for Alaska. You don't have any, you don't have any inventory. Everything is sold out. So I'll make sure that you are going to have those groups available for you. Wherever you find any problem with a supplier, reach out to me and tell me that we maxed the group. I'm going to look into it. I would advise you also to reach out to our BDMs, copy me on that email. That's very important. And ask them to open a group for you. They will go to their revenue department and they'll come back to you. Most of the cases they agree, but let's try this avenue before going to other agents and trying to look into their group.
Mhm. And then also if you can speak to TCs from those new headquarter groups. So if a group is converted over to a headquarter group, can you address how those TCs are going to be handled?
All right, so let's say that we have 10 cabins and you get 1 TC per 5 cabins, and I'll take Debbie again. Debbie blocked 8 cabins into a group of 10 cabins. Of course, that Debbie will get that TC because she was the majority of the bookings into that specific group. So whoever holds the majority. But what happens if you book, Debbie booked 2 cabins and other books another 2 and another 2 and another, no, nobody will get the TC basically. You'll enjoy the rate.
Mhm. Okay. And then here's a good one we didn't get last week, which was if they open a group and they have a great rate and they find they're not going to use the group, do you want them to contact you so we can take it over as a headquarter group, or do we just need to cancel it?
Well, you can definitely come over to me and tell me before you release the inventory. If I'll find the itinerary interesting and something that we can open it up and promote it, yeah, definitely other agents can enjoy it. So
Mhm.
if you'll do that, that will be great, and other agents will enjoy it.
All right, perfect. And believe it or not, that kind of fits the questions I've had so far as far as the type. Wait, hold on. I got one more come in. Um, oh, they want to talk about the showing the proof of marketing. Bernard says that showing proof of marketing would be considered illegal, sending a screenshot of a private text or email.
Yes,
Um,
so you can just take a screenshot and send it to me by email. That will be sufficient. That will be enough.
mhm,
But I'll have this
okay.
conversation with you and you'll
Right,
tell me.
right. That's more of a, yeah.
Yeah, if not,
Okay.
they have a problem with the email, so they can, I don't know, forward
Mhm,
to my phone or whatever is
yeah,
needed.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's all the written questions I have. I don't know if you want to open it up to anybody that has
Yeah,
any
let's open it
questions.
up. I see a question about Travel Leader Network group space. Well, as you know, the only groups that you're allowed to book into are Travel Leader Networks group space. So none of it is concerned Travel Leader Networks. Keep working with Travel Leader Networks, and you can book into Travel Leader Networks. It's no problem. Let's open the floor. If you have questions, you can chime in and ask.
I saw a hand raised. It was Marie Bailey had her hand raised. She's been waiting.
No, I just want to make sure, and I know you said it before, that even though you booked a group and you put a deposit down, but you still don't have clients, you still have to record that in the system.
So
With
no,
the
so if you have a
deposit?
client and the client is putting deposit down, then you have to create it in the system within 72 hours.
But this is if you don't have clients, you only put the deposits down.
You're
On
talking about the group level deposit?
Yes.
No, you don't have to. You don't
Okay.
have to. Yeah, because putting the group level deposit is not doing anything but securing the rate in the inventory. It doesn't mean that you have the group already formed because there are no names and no real deposit in the booking. But when the client comes to you and say, hey, I want to book with you, then you put down the names in the CRM system and all the information that is needed. Deborah, am I right?
Oh, I was answering. I'm sorry. What did you?
No,
Sorry,
I'm
I was
right.
typing. You're
I'm
right.
right. Oh, good.
Elon, you're right. You're right.
Yes, that's what you said.
Debbie, was he right? Debbie Masano, was he right? Yeah, okay. She's muted.
Yeah, she's saying yes.
Okay, good.
Look, I even raised my hand instead of.
I'm so
Oh
proud
my
of you,
God,
Debbie.
Debbie, you're so polite.
I know.
Awesome. More questions.
Okay, so Debbie, did you have a question while I read what I've got here?
I posted a question, and I know that we have a princess expert who did make a comment, so I wanted to verify. For princess, it was always my understanding that yes, I know everything, Princess in Holland, that it's automatically put into a group. But, I have to what if. So I have 8 cabins or 25 cabins booked on Princess, I wish. And then other agents, and those cabins I booked were all balcony or mini suites. And then all of a sudden, there's 10 interior cabins booked. Doesn't Princess average the TC? So if it is automatically put into a Princess group, then it could change the creator of the group's TC because it would lower it if there were that many interior cabins.
Right.
I do know that in the past when I've looked and I see, oh my goodness, there's this agent has it, my booking got automatically put into there. And I'm only booking an interior, or I've got a suite. So my suite isn't going to lower their TC, but if it has lowered their TC, I've called Princess and said, please take my cabin out of Susie Q's group, number 123. And Princess has done that for me. So maybe if some clarification can be found out if that in fact does lower a TC credit for the person who created it.
So listen what I'm going to do. I'm going to host Sarah from Princess. She joined about 2-3 months to Princess, and I wanted to give her a little bit of time. But I think it's about time to host Princess on my Zoom call. And she will answer that question. I'll address the question, and it will be put in the group sales tab as a video so everybody can see it. But it's a good question. I mean, if you're booking a lower cabin, you can lower the TC ratio, the TC amount. And that's only fair if you call in and say, I don't want that booking into a group. Take it out. I don't want to affect that group. But let me ask Sarah, let me invite her after conference. I'm going to do it. So stay tuned for my next meeting with our suppliers and join me for those calls. They're very much informative. There's tons of information flowing out of those Zoom calls, and they're all recorded and being placed in the group sales tab. If you haven't visited lately, go visit. There's a lot of surprising things over there.
A lot of good stuff. Now, the other question we're seeing is, can more than one agent earn a TC within a headquarter group? I'm assuming yes, that's not going to be an issue with what we're doing if there's enough cabins available. And then a second question, how is OA handling it when they want to partner with other agents? I'm going to take this one and you tell me if this is wrong with the group, Salon. We only pay the booking number that you have entered in the CRM. So if every one of you enters different booking numbers into the same group, and the cruise line pays it at the booking, the booking number level, you're each going to get your commission. So if you decide to partner with Debbie or Marie, and the three of you guys get together and you want to, market this group or whatever you want to do, that's up to you. Okay. Because whoever enters that booking number in the CRM is who's going to get paid. End of discussion. We're not going to get involved with that. We're not going to figure out who earned what. So that's pretty much how that works with anything. Just remember that whoever entered that booking number is who's going to get paid. The rest of it's kind of up for you guys to figure out.
Yeah, and that will only happen if they didn't book into other agents group
Well,
with
yeah.
no permission.
Right,
Sure.
right, exactly. Yeah, please do not book into other agents group without permission. As happy as I am to let Elon make those phone calls now, they're not fun.
Nope, they're not, but there's a new sheriff in town and I have to
I
do
love it. And then one final question, but I think anytime we do not fill all rooms, should they let you know before they release the inventory, or do you want them, or are they okay to just release it without?
Oh,
you know,
you're
going to
okay to
you?
release if you filled, for example, you have 10 cabins that you booked with your group and you filled only 5. You don't have to let me know. You can just call the cruise line and be fair, just give them enough time to sell those cabins. You can release them. You don't have to let me know. But if you have a group that you haven't materialized at all, and you want to release the 12 cabins that you blocked, but you haven't materialized even one cabin, then reach out to me. We'll open it up to be a headquarter group, let others enjoy from it. Listen, we're a big host agency. We're above 10,000 agents. This is a big power that we have in our hands, and therefore that's why I think the policy is needed to create opportunities for each one of you to work with groups. I've been telling each one of you that it's one of the best things that we have is to work through groups and elevate your business and grow revenue. You're more than welcome to schedule calls with me and learn how to do that. But without opportunities that are out there, there is nothing much that we can do. So know that we're always working for you guys and for your success. And this policy meant for you to be successful and have opportunities with us. Again, I can tell you, I was working with almost each host agency. We have the best owner ever. And the best management. So for you to know, we're all working for you and we'll do everything for your success.
Mm-hmm. And we got a couple more questions that popped in. Can you see those? Hold on a second. MBG flyer qualify as marketing. Yeah, if you send it. I mean, so that would qualify for marketing, right? If they send it out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
And then to request a mentor appointment with Elon or really any of our mentors, if you go into MagTap and go down to training, you'll see a section that says, I think, mentoring request.
Mm-hmm.
And you can request a mentor for, with Elon, website, business development, they're all in that same place. Okay. And then Pamela Cheek is, can I say something? Raising hand. Yes, please.
Pam?
I'll answer her in here. Yes, please. Wonder if she's on mute.
Yeah, probably.
Might be, yeah. So, and then Bernard Wells, what about the cruise date for basic deposit? They give a date, but OA is saying within 60 days after booking.
Okay, so I know some cruise line are asking after 60 days to put a deposit down. For example, NCL, Norwegian Cruise Line. Well, I want you to promote that group from day one. So that will be sufficient for you to keep that group. But after 60 days, if you want to keep that group, you have to put anyway a group level deposit of $50. Therefore, I do want you to start promoting it from day one. And after 60 days, if you decide to put the deposit, that's fine. If not, and you're covered. But if you're intending to put in the mark of the 60-day the deposit, you're okay. You don't have to do the marketing during the 60 days. I want you to do it, but on the 60 days, if you put the deposit down, you're good to go. Otherwise, you're going to lose that group. Norwegian doesn't allow you to keep that group after 60 days. And I don't know if I don't know other cruise line, but any of them will ask for you for deposit after certain amount of date. Will basically take the cabins back. Bernard, that
And
answer your questions?
okay, Kimberly Clement, somebody said you had your hand raised. I don't see it now. Do you have a question still? No? Okay. And Bernard, I see you've got a couple more specific questions. So I think the best thing to do is maybe set up a time with Elan. And that way you guys can go over that in detail. And so for Pam, she did type for us. Here's what she's got. For Princess, many people set up groups and forget to add their amenities. Then later it is too late, and it is in everyone's benefit to set up at least OBC so that anyone that ends up in your group can use it. Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
Yep,
Okay.
absolutely.
All right. And then does putting info in the CRM after 72 hours hinder your commission? It can. Please, if you go back to your original training with outside agents, you'll see in your contract that we do reserve that right, because that is very difficult for our accounting department when somebody has a group and decides to put it in after final payment or after they've seen the commission should be coming in. I have seen that happen. And I have seen that our accounting department have to go back and like try to match up and get all that settled for like 50 bookings at a time. So yes, it actually can per your contract. So please try to get those in as fast as you can.
And I'll mention it again. If you can please go to the royal and celebrity groups that you're holding and put on the group name, add your family name. That will help us a lot because you have no clue when you're asking for some other group to book into. Almost all Royal Caribbean is involved, us, because we can't find the agent. Going through the history, and it takes sometimes a lot of time to deal with it, which is just a simple thing. Just put it on your group name.
Okay, and Erin O'Leary is still confused about the TC. She says, if I book 3 rooms on NCL and then a fellow agent books 2, do I get the TC? If not, does OA keep this?
No, so yeah, you'll not get the TC. OA will keep the TC, but if you'll have Norwegian is requesting 5 cabins to have 1 TC. So if you have 5 cabins in that group, you're entitled to get a TC, but you have 3, you're not entitled to get a TC.
Right. So our group policy has no bearing. If you've got questions about the TCs for your particular cruise line, you need to go directly to that cruise line and find out what it is, because we're going to follow that. Correct?
Yep. Yep.
Okay, cool.
We're going to follow the rules of the cruise line, the group program of each cruise line. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so I got another one saying if you have space available in your group and you want to post it in our OA neighborhood, please do not, because with all the groups out there, our Facebook group will end up looking like a giant swap meet or something, because everybody's going to have unsold group space they're trying to sell. So this is why we don't let anybody try to sell their group space or share the group space in that outside agents neighborhood. Just so you understand, like you said, we've got 10,500 agents. If everybody with 2 or 3 rooms left in their group decided to post to that Facebook group, that's all it would be. So that's why we don't allow you to share to the Facebook group specifically.
I know that in the last meeting on Friday, Clara, one of our agents,
Mhm.
suggested that you guys will form a Facebook page that you will be able to share with each other group space available, group space that other agents will be aware of that and book into those groups. You can form your own one. If there are volunteers that will be able to manage that, that's fine. You can do that between you guys. I know that some of you already emailed me that they're willing to be the ones to take over
The
and take care of
admins.
it. Yes. You can definitely do that. That's something that is all up to you. You can gather some of you and form that Facebook page and share information. Once I will determine how I'm gonna let you know about the groups that are headquarter groups, then we'll go from there, and I'm sure that it will be something very simple that you'll be able to see it, but still working on it.
Yes. All right. And so really, I guess if you have any more questions, they can just email you directly for everything else moving forward. And then that way you can get the specifics on that.
Yes,
Okay.
definitely. Definitely send me an email if you have questions specifically about any of your group or concerns about your group. Any general question about the policy, feel free to shoot me an email or just catch me on the upcoming conference that we have. If you're coming over, I'm going to be in land, I'm going to be in sea, so you have enough day with me. Yeah. Steve told me you need to come with security because of this policy. And I'm like, no, I'm in a good place. I'm among family. Like,
I know.
we're doing
Hey,
everything
it's
right.
right, exactly. I talked to him this morning. He said, "You're going to be there." I was like, talking to agents with Ilana. I was like, "He's got this." He
Yeah.
doesn't need me,
Y'all
but
can
no.
reach out. We'll talk about it. And don't worry, it's all meant to do good to your business, to you. And like I said, I'm not going to allocate any groups or take any group without discussing it with you and making sure that you work through the guidelines. So like anything in life, you're good civilians, just follow the guidelines, everything will be okay.
I like that plan. Perfect. And if anybody's looking for this video, I'm not sure how long it's going to take them. It has to go through editing once we finish, and then they'll upload it, like he said, to the group sales tab. And then it's probably going to go I'm hoping it'll go in the LMS as well. But I think you'll probably post in the Facebook group, won't you, Alon, when it goes up,
Yeah,
when it goes live.
we're gonna put it in the Facebook group, but we're gonna definitely have it on the group sales tab. You can go back to it and watch the recording. I'm gonna have a very short recording of 20 minutes do only the presentation. So you can also watch that, and you can also download as a PDF the group policy. It's already on the group sales tab. So thank you, everybody. Really, thank you for joining. And I'm really looking to working together to form groups to do a fair play and just enjoy and grow business together.
Absolutely. You guys have a good afternoon.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody. Have a great afternoon.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.